Then Rezin, king of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remelah, king of Israel, marched up to fight against Jerusalem and besieged Ahaz. But they could not overpower him. At that time, Rezin, king of Aram, recovered Elath from Aram by driving out the men of Judah. Edomites then moved into Elath and have lived there to this day. Ahaz sent messengers to say to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, I am your servant and vassal. Come up and save me out of the land of the king of Aram and of the king of Israel who are attacking me. And Ahaz took the silver and gold found in the temple of the Lord and in the treasuries of the royal palace and sent it as a gift to the king of Assyria. The king of Assyria complied by attacking Damascus and capturing it. He deported its inhabitants to Kir and put Rezin to death. Okay, so once again, more portions of Israel are now being deported to Assyria. So remember, Israel's already starting to shrink. If I'm not mistaken, from previous Bible studies, Israel's now starting to shrink because they've had king after leader after leader after leader, king after king after king, not follow the Lord. And so the Lord's now allowing for people to be deported from the promised land. And so that's where we are with that. Also, as you can see, the king of Judah, he wasn't asking for help from the Lord. So we're going to see what's going to happen because he didn't ask the king of the sent messengers also to the king of Assyria. So Assyria is already like we just said, taking people and deporting them. And so it's kind of almost like the king is doing so bad that he's following in line with having more people from Israel get deported. So lots going on here, unfortunately, and we'll see what happens because this king Ahaz is not seeking the Lord. Let's continue to read. Then King Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria. He saw an altar in Damascus and sent to Uri the priest a sketch of the altar with detailed plans for its construction. So Uri the priest built an altar in accordance with all the plans that King Ahaz had sent from Damascus and finished it before King Ahaz returned. When the king came back from Damascus and saw the altar, he approached it and presented offerings on it. He offered up his burnt offering and grain offering, poured out his drink offering, and sprinkled the blood of his fellowship offerings on the altar. The bronze altar that stood before the Lord he brought from the front of the temple, from between the new altar and the temple of the Lord, and put it on the north side of the new altar. So as we can see, and I do apologize, I'm like, I had just worked out, so I'm still glowing and anyways, okay, so that's another thing. Mixing, how do I say this? Mixing religious practices. So at this point, it was practices of the peace offering, the burnt offering, the grain offering, the drink offering. That was all part of practice of worshiping the Lord. And now he's doing that, but he's doing it to this other God thing that was built that he saw from Damascus, and had Uri the priest copy and make another altar of it. What I believe is in the Lord's temple, right? In Israel, in Jerusalem, or in Judah, right? Jealous God. God is jealous God. These people are asking, like, he's doing this because he's like, okay, well, this other God, because that's how he's gotten to that ignorance. He's like, okay, this other God or this other thing is helping their people, so let me do it also. And we talked about this in a previous Bible study too. Sometimes the Lord will, you keep begging, asking for something, the Lord's going to give it to you. And you're going to find out you didn't want it. You didn't want it. Or it's not the right time, or it's just not good. Not good at all. So in this case, he's like doing things that would be worshiping the Lord, but he's worshiping this other thing that's not anything. So again, let's see what happens. We have a lot to cover today, so we probably are going to go over. Warning. King Ahaz then gave these orders to Uri the priest: on the large new altar, offer the morning burnt offering and the evening grain offering, the king's burnt offering and his grain offering, and the burnt offering of all the people of the land, and their grain offering and their drink offering. Sprinkle on the altar all the blood of the burnt offerings and sacrifices. But I will use the bronze altar for seeking guidance. And Uri the priest did just as King Ahaz had ordered. So, okay, so I had to take a moment there for a second. But okay, so this, a couple of things. I'm going to go back because that hot topic came up again, right? King Ahaz then gave these. Okay, so he's given these orders to the priests. So it leads us to understand that even the priests at this time in Judah were not following the Lord wholeheartedly. They were doing whatever the king told them to do. So we're starting to see even more of an issue even in Judah now at this point, because Israel had been following along with not really following the Lord every now and then, but over and over again, mostly not. And then now we're seeing Judah. Judah is starting to do the same. In fact, this king is slipping away and is being compared with the kings of Israel. Now, back on that hot topic subject, whether you and we go over those, of course, because any taboo subject or any subject that people feel so strongly about, it's fine. It's absolutely good. And we should, even the apostles in the Bible had arguments. We need to seek the Lord together. And so when they had arguments, what do? They went straight to the Lord. So what I have to say about that is, whether you are for or against it, no matter what, it does not deter God's plan. Period. Like, no matter what man does, that's what, like, I think people like to put the Lord in a box sometimes, that they believe that it's up to man to make God's plan. And I'm just like, when it gets to that point, I'm like, you're not recognizing him. You're not recognizing that he is God, and he can stop time. He can fast forward time. He can do whatever he wants. You're not giving glory to him. You're not giving honor to him. So that's what I wanted to say. Give all glory and power to him. Give it back to the Lord, and understand that it's not we're talking about good, bad, etc. Just understanding that we are here on earth to love each other. We are here on earth to also listen and take this information, take this wisdom, this book of love that the Lord loves each and every one of us. And we all have a story to fulfill, every single one of us. So think about those things. And I know we talk about hot topics too, and there's going to be other hot topics too. You name it, it's all here. I mean, we've already passed some, coveting thy neighbor's wife and all that good stuff. There's a lot here. And we'll talk about even when it comes to divorce, because Jesus did a really good, Jesus is God. So we'll hear what he has to say about it in the New Testament. So back to this Bible study, though. And again, if you disagree or whatever, there's always strong feelings and such. Leave comments, suggestions, your thoughts, your feelings, etc. Because that's a blessing. That's good. We are all here. We are all human. And we're all in this together. So when it comes to current Bible study with the king and the Old Testament and King Ahaz and Second Kings, and we're seeing how even Judah now is slipping away. They're not worshiping the Lord. They're not seeking Him. They're trying to use earthly things such as riches to pay, like the king of Assyria, trying to help get him for protection. And we're going to see what's going to happen with that. And now, so much so that this king is worshiping these other people's God, right? In the Lord's temple. In the Lord, and the priest that he has is not objecting to it. It's almost like the priest is getting paid for it. And that's another thing that's going to be spoken about, especially in the New Testament. But let's, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?